Hello folks, Wally here. Today in this video I'm gonna show you a little bit more about functions in Bash script. They are very useful and very powerful. So I hope you enjoy because this will be pretty fun. So let's take a look. Alright, let's take a look on this small example. Okay, basically we have the shebang, we have the shell that we are using, the bin bash, and then we have a very simple commands here, like just echo to show step 1 and step 2. Well, there, can I put like some sort of any more smart things like different commands, different actions? Definitely you can, but again, this is very simple just to understand how function works in Bash. Okay, so basically we have two steps, step 1 and step 2. Alright, as we saw in the chapter before, if you're new here, feel free to take a look in the video that we have explaining like the base concepts of shell. But basically we have a file, this file is not executable, we'd like to change this to executable. So chmod plus x and then the script, and now we can just run / and then the script name, okay, the file name. And then we can see step 1 and step 2. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Okay, let's take a look on the structure of this function. We have the name of the function, the parentheses, and then the curly braces opening and closing the function, okay? And all of your codes will be inside this one. So, Walter, you are saying that I have all my code under this code or this function, and this will be executed once I call this one by the name. Yes, that's right. So once we have this one, the expected behavior should be I have my script, I'm calling the first and the second. I would like to see, or I expect to see, the output of step 1 and step 2. There we are. So basically when we execute the script, we can see step 1 and step 2. Okay, let's take a look over here. This is the piece of the code similar as before, so we can see two terminals all together. By the way, this is Tmux. If you doesn't know, have no idea about Tmux, pretty soon I will be releasing a new video specifically about Tmux, providing some tips, so stay tuned, alright? Basically here we can see again the same functions. The first function, the second function, we have the call, and here I'm calling the script, and then we can see step 1 and step 2 as the output. Moving on, let's take a look on this. I just commented out the second step. So once I execute this script, what will happen is the shell will process this file. There is this function, but no one is calling this one yet. There is this one, no one is calling this one yet. And then we have the first call. This is the call to this function. Then we can see the output over here, step 1. And this is commented out. So what will happen is this function will not be called. Okay? This is what we are seeing here. Step 1 only, because we are just calling one function. Eventually, when creating a code, you have too much code together in the same file. And definitely this is pretty nice to segregate your codes. And then we'll turn your code more readable, easy to understand, easy to troubleshooting if you need. So definitely function is very welcome in all the scripts that you are working on, okay? And also to all the new ones that you are going to create. Okay, let's move it on. Now I did the opposite. I just commented out the first one, and we can see here now that we have just step 2. So let's say you have 10 functions, you like to step like the initial, the first 3 functions, you can just comment them out and that's it. All that code will be skipped because now you're not calling the function. You're going straight to the function that you are looking for, and then all the codes from that specific point will be executed. This is neat, this is pretty cool. Let's continue. Check this out. Now I commented out both of the calls. I'm not calling anything. What is expected? Exactly this one. I'm calling the script and there is no output because all the calls from those functions are commented out. So basically, if you are facing any kind of problem in your code, you can easily comment out and you can identify pretty fast which part or which piece of your code is failing. So again, this is pretty useful. Let's continue. All right, this is the cherry on top of this cake, okay? This is a bonus. So, Baldir, what is that? As you know, in many languages, we can work with parameters, and this is not different in shell, okay? So we have our function, same idea, same function as well. I didn't change anything on this code, but you can see over here, this is the $1. Basically in shell, $1 is the parameter, $1 is the first parameter, $2 is the second one, $3, so forth, so on. We can use $1 as the parameter to this function. So what I'm doing here is I have $1 and I'm still calling the first step with no parameters. So what this means? My $1 will be empty, okay? So in this case, I'm just printing the $1 after my step 1. We can see over here, like I still see the step 1, but there is no content after that. And this is great, this is expected because I'm not passing anything to this function. Now, check this out. I have my script, and this script is calling first param or first parameter. This could be any name, okay? But the point is, this is one parameter. And once I have this parameter over here, check this out. Now we have the echo, step 1, $1. And then I can see my first parameter. Well, can I have something here like my local variable receives $1 and then start working with my local variable? Definitely you can. I'm just keep this simple at this moment, but definitely you can do that, and this is a good practice, okay? All right, this is cool. This is neat. This is fun. Well, now I have my call to this function. I have my first parameter and I have my second parameter as well. And something is wrong because I can see just my first parameter. What is happening? As I said before, in shells when work with parameters, $1 will be your first parameter, $2 will be your second, $3 will be your third parameter, and so on, okay? If you like to get the second, third, fourth, you can just pass $2, $3, $4. This is one way that you can handle this. Or there is another way. This is the second way. You can see that I'm using a double quotes. Basically, when we encapsulate using double quotes, I can use the single quotes or double quotes. And then check this out. My $1 will contain the two information, even with the space. So how can I handle this? Basically, you can get one variable, and if you're still using like the space as a delimiter, you can use cut or awk to get the first element before the space, or using the space as a delimiter, and then the second, the third. So it depends on what kind of implementation you're doing. But again, let's keep it simple. Here the goal is just to show why this is happening and one way that we have to work around this one. So once you put the double quotes, definitely this will be a single information, and $1 will contain all that content, all that information. First and second parameter. Okay, well, this is pretty good, but what about troubleshooting and debug this one? Because eventually if I have like multiple lines, my script has like tons and tons of lines, how can I do any kind of troubleshooting or debug or something like that? I like to see this one a little bit more verbose, or to put more verbosity on this script. Definitely you can do that. Shells allow you to do this. We have already this feature, so let me show you. Here, for example, we are calling the script, and the script is just printing the output as well. One pretty simple way to debug your bash script is calling bash -x and then the name of your script. You can see step by step what's going on. In this case, the script calling the function, passing this parameter, and then we can see the information inside the function. This is the call, this is the output in the terminal, and then this is going to call the second function, the function name, and this is the step executed underneath that function, and then we can see the output in the terminal. So here you can see, like, for basically two information that we are printing out, we have too many information. If you have your own bash script, feel free to run this one, bash-x, in your script, and you see how verbose it will be. This is pretty cool, pretty useful as well. Okay, this video was pretty quick. This was the idea. Basically share with you guys functions on shell, how this works, parameters, how we can pass parameters to functions, and I hope you enjoy it. So do not forget to subscribe. Feel free to share this video with someone that you know are working with scripts or bash, basically. If you have any question, feel free to share in the comments below, and see you in the next video. Bye, take care.